Today this is what we're going to build. You can hear my goats outside complaining because I've locked them out so they won't bother me while I do this. But if you've got goats, you know they waste a lot of hay. And this is a manger that I've made. I've actually made 3 of them. I've got one here and one over here on the other side. And they're made from a horse panel, like a cattle panel, but it's made for horses, and it's 2x4 welded wire. It's really heavy. It's got wood on the sides, some angle iron on the front. But this 2x4 welded wire makes it so that they really have to kind of work to get the hay out of there. And you know, it takes them a little bit, but they get all they need to eat and they don't waste it all over the floor. You can see down here, there's just a little bit on the floor, and I haven't picked up hay in here in 2 or 3 weeks. So you can see that it really makes a difference. Here's a view from the side showing how they're attached to the wall. There's just a little bracket up there at the top that is got a lag bolt that goes back into the wall. So down here in the bottom, I've just got a hole drilled here and one over on the other side there, and I got a couple lag bolts to hold the bottom in. And then you can see the walls are just flush to the back wall. You'll see up here in the top, I've got a piece of rebar welded across there, and that just reinforces that top edge. Because if you have goats, you know they're going to push and ram into that thing and bend it. Alright, let's get into the shop and get one of these made. Alright, to make the sides, I've got a piece of OSB that's 11 inches wide, and it's just a little under 60 inches long. And these sides are, it's a piece of scrap I had, so the sides are 30 inches long, and I'm going to make 2 of them out of here, and it's a little under 60, but it's got a bevel in it, so I'll be able to get them both in here. So I'm going to come over here and mark 30 inches, and then on this side I'm going to mark 22 and a half. Then take a square, connect those lines. Alright, now for the other end, I'm going to basically do the same thing, but I'm going to come off of this end 22 and a half, and then come off of this end 30 inches. And together, I should be able, these should be square across from each other. You know they're not, so let me just double check that again. Alright, well, 22 and a half, 30, 22 and a half, and 30, so, okay. Not sure what's going on there, but it'll work. Alright, so I'm going to go get this cut off, and then the next thing I'll do is cut this in half right here. That gives us 2 pieces, same size. So for the angle iron that goes on the sides, this is an old bed rail. You know those bed frames that you put together that have a little post that comes off and they sit on the floor, and you put a box spring on there. That's what this came from. So I need two pieces that are 22. I'm just going to mark that. And 44. And then I need two pieces that are 14. All right, and I'll get that cut. Oh, and then I need one more. Then I need one more piece that's 25 to go across the bottom. All right, and I'll get that cut. I've got one of the sides up on a couple of bricks, and so I'm going to take the angle iron that we cut, and I'm going to use the wood to kind of line it up for me, just like that, and then we'll get this welded. So to make this, I have to make a left and a right, so I got one done the other way, and now I'll get this one done. Well, that turned out pretty ugly. A little heavier weld than it needed, but it looks a little better. Alright, next we need to get the wire bent. And so this is our side, the front and the bottom. And so this bottom, we're just going to measure it and see that it's about 13.5 inches long. So we're going to measure up 13.5 inches on both sides. Just like that. And I'm going to use this piece of angle iron to help hold it down kind of uniformly. This is the piece that actually goes on the bottom. Then take a couple of clamps. You could use C-clamps or whatever. You do want to make sure you get these two sides pretty straight and get these lengths pretty even, because if you don't, if you get it sideways, when you bend this, then your manger's not going to be straight. Alright, so none of that was working very well. Let's try this. If I had a 2x4 out here, I'd just use a 2x4. Okay, I've moved in here where I've got a more stable table to bend this on. There we go. And I just got a 2x4 there. Alright, let me get those and check the angle. Okay. So that looks like it's checking that angle is actually a little bit farther down, so I think we're good. Next step is we're going to start getting our wire welded onto the frame. And really, the only clamping I've done is I've just pulled that corner into that corner. Alright, let's get this, get it tacked down. And what I'll do is as I go around, I'll just pull it up tight till we get it good, get it nice and tight all the way around. Alright, that's got those together. I got a little carried away and burned that one in too right there. Now I'm just going to get this bottom piece welded on there. We've got all the welding done, and the next thing we need to do is screw the wooden pieces on, just like that. And I'm using these screws that have they've got a little end on them that acts like a drill bit, and I honestly don't know what they're called. I got them at Home Depot a couple of years ago. But if I didn't have these, I would just have to drill a little pilot hole in here in order to get my screws started. These screws are quite a bit too long for this, so on the back side, I'm just taking a hammer. If you just try to bend them over, they'll just break right off. And then I'll come back and hit these with a grinder to smooth them off. Okay, I'm going to get the other side done. Alright, I've got my two ends screwed down. Let me show you a little trick. What happens is, you saw on the other side, I had one that it just kept breaking the tip off on me. Well, what happens if I put a screw here and then I try to put one here, the pressure is going to be so great on this going down, it's going to break that tip before it cuts through the steel. So a trick I've kind of figured out is start the screws, and then these ends you can just screw them straight in, but then start out by running the screw backwards, and it'll drill a hole through the wood until you hit the steel. Then go forward and it cuts that, it makes it so it'll just kind of slide on the hole, and then it won't get so much pressure down on the steel that it breaks that tip off. Alright, we're getting this bracket put on. This is the top and the back, and I've got one screw in it. I'm going to go ahead and get this last screw in there. I'm going to use that same technique where I put it in backwards till I hit the steel, then turn it forward and drill through. There we go. And that washer is going to help this from pulling through that OSB. You know, it's not real strong, so hopefully that'll help me there. Then I'll just flip these over, knock these screws off the back. Knock them off the back there. Now I've got to drill a couple of holes in here so that I can screw this to the wall, and we'll get down to the barn and get it installed. Alright, so I got my wall, I got some blocks in my wall to help support this thing. And I'm just going to use some 1/4-inch lag bolts to hold it up. Alright, that's got it installed. Hope you enjoyed watching this project. Thank you for watching.